Three Italian brain rot memes translated part 1. At first,
Most unluckiest people.
This is gonna be it.
The unluckiest person on Earth,
Let's see what it
part
says.
1. You might think you're an unlucky person. Well, I guarantee you, this man named John Line beats you in that category. Because it all started when John was a toddler when he accidentally drank a bottle of disinfectant. Well, he was rushed to the hospital and survived. Well, many years later when John was 12 years old, he was riding a bike and was struck by lightning. He survived. At 14 years old, he nearly drowned while swimming in the sea before he was saved and survived. Several months later, John was climbing a tree. He fell and broke his arm. Well, on the way home from the hospital, his bus crashed and he broke another bone in his arm. Following this, at age 16, John was hit by a rock and lost 8 teeth. Well, throughout his life, he was involved in 3 car accidents, hit with a live electrical cable, his plane was struck by lightning, and he also fell down an open manhole. John says things could have been a lot worse.
Okay.
These are the unluckiest people in history. A few years ago in Brazil, a mother got separated from her child and the child ended up growing up without a mother. And being an orphan, it's natural to sometimes yearn about what kind of people your parents are/were. And since this girl's mother was still alive, she decided to go on a quest to go and find her mother and, introduce herself to her. Luckily, or unluckily, I don't know if that's a word, but it didn't take her very long to find her mother, because it turns out the mother-in-law of this orphan was actually her biological mother, which means this poor woman accidentally got married to her biological brother.
What?
So just imagine this. You know what? Don't imagine this. Moving on. I don't know if I should laugh or feel bad for that, but at least she got to meet her mother.
The unluckiest people ever. This man was going home on the train after buying a pizza, but fell asleep and dropped it all over the floor. And this lady wore ripped jeans on a really hot day and got a pretty nasty burn. And this guy went to unlock his door with his key, but it broke inside the lock. And how lucky do you have to be for a balcony to fall onto your car? This kid's basketball got stuck, so he threw a broom up to get it down, and then the broom got stuck. Unlucky.
These are the unluckiest people in history. So James Howells of Wales accidentally threw out a hard drive that had 8,000 bitcoins on it, worth roughly $500 million. He pled with the town council to do an excavation project to find it, but they refused. Melanie Martinez is a Louisiana-based bus driver who lost 5 different houses to hurricanes, even her most recent one that she had a generous reality TV makeover for. Violet Jessup of Ireland was aboard both the Titanic and the HMHS Britannic while they both sank, while Roy Sullivan was struck by lightning on 7 different occasions. Anne Hodges is the only person in history to have been hit by a meteor, although she ended up being okay with just a pretty interesting scar. Frank Selak almost died on 7 different occasions from being sucked out of an airplane door, getting hit by a bus, and multiple car fires, though he later ended up winning the lottery. And finally, Henry Zeiglin dodged a bullet shot at him that ended up stuck in a tree, and after later finding the bullet wedged in the tree, he blew up the tree, only for the bullet to ricochet off a branch and then hit him in the head, killing him instantly. Pretty cool, right? These are the unluckiest people in history. So James...
What is the unluckiest way someone has died? You might think that title would go to someone like Jose Ochoa, who attended an illegal cockfight in California, where he was literally stabbed by a chicken after someone strapped a knife to its leg. But surprisingly, that doesn't even come close to the unluckiest death ever. Not even Randy Lanes comes close. A fisherman who was out harpooning on his boat. After impaling a swordfish, he struggled to get it on board and had to jump in the water to get it up. In a crazy act of karma, the swordfish actually wasn't dead, and it did a full 180 and impaled him right back. See, the unluckiest way to ever die has to be what happened to these 4 random people in Buenos Aires. In a tragic accident, a poodle fell out of a 13th-story window and hit an unsuspecting old lady, causing them both to pass away. Across the street, a passerby had witnessed the incident and was in shock. They started running towards the old lady for help, but were hit by a bus while crossing the road to get there. Then, another person who saw all of that happen had a heart attack and died. So if you don't want your pet to fall out of a window, subscribe.
These are 3 of the unluckiest people. And at number 3, this guy gets instant karma for making fun of him. At number 2, 2 people lost something precious that day. At number 1, basketball decided to end his whole career.
Oh, dude, that was close.
Subscribe to become lucky.
No.
These are
Oh, dude, that was close.
This one again.
Oh, dude, that was close.
Is that a bowling ball?
Yeah, he broke his foot. Oh! Never mind, he just came back. Oh, I was going to say now he came back. Hit him over the head into the balls.
Who lost the food lottery. This watermelon is 80% rinds. How disappointing. This person planned on making guacamole for dinner, but the avocado had something else planned. This person cut open their loaf of bread to find out that it was mostly air. When life gives you lemons and you can't even make lemonade, this person ordered a beer from the bar and all they got was foam. I would be choked. People who lost the food lottery. This watermelon. People who lost the food lottery. This
Subject for the next video. The next video will be luckiest people ever. Just for this one video.
Who is the luckiest person ever? You might think it'd be someone like Tsuyomi Yamaguchi, a man who survived the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and who then went back to his home in Nagasaki, where he managed to survive that blast as well. However, surprisingly, he doesn't even come close to the luckiest person ever. See, this is Frane Silak, a man who cheated death. During his first incident in 1962, the train he was riding flipped and crashed into a river, killing most passengers but not him. A year later, he was blown out of a plane and somehow landed unscathed on a haystack. 3 years after that, a bus he was riding on skidded into a river, but once again he was fine. 2 years after that, he was teaching his son how to hold a gun and shot himself in the... His balls had to be removed, but once again he was alive and well. After that, he was hit by a bus, but the universe tried to off him one last time. He managed to dodge a head-on collision on a mountain, but was thrown out of his vehicle as it plummeted 100 meters off of a cliff. Finally, after all was said and done, he won over $1 million in the national lottery. Who is the luckiest person ever?
Oh my God.
People who miraculously survived the most horrifying accidents. First, this man was enjoying a ride when suddenly he took a fall. As he got up, he immediately noticed a tree branch sticking out of his neck. Realizing that panicking would not help, he calmly chose not to pull out the branch. Instead, he rode his bike back to his car and drove himself to the hospital. There, doctors found that the branch had penetrated only half an inch into his neck. Second, these men were in the elevator when it suddenly stopped. As it reached the basement, water started rushing into the elevator and quickly rose halfway up the chamber. The pair first tried to open the elevator doors, but when they couldn't, they climbed onto the handrails to try to escape the rising water. Gabriel tried to call the police with his cell phone, while Cleaver tried to pry open the maintenance hatch in the ceiling of the elevator. Luckily for them, 2 nearby police officers quickly responded to their call and were soon at the building. They had to swim through the flooded basement to reach the trapped men, who were thankfully saved when the officers pried open the elevator doors with crowbars. People who miraculously survived the most...
I found the unluckiest guy in the world. See how many reasons you can find that he has bad luck. Here's a freebie. He's under a ladder.
He's under a ladder. Black cap. Isn't really that unlucky. He had a painting, probably quite rare. An umbrella open in the house. Yeah.
That's how many you can find. There's more than you think. I found the unluckiest guy in the world. See how many reasons you can find that he has bad luck.
Here's some
I found the...
So he's going to look around, see if he can find anything else unlucky. Give you 10 seconds. 5, 2, 1.
Here are some unlucky people having a very bad day. This guy broke up with his girlfriend and the very next day, she won the lottery. And this man was arrested in the middle of a haircut. Ouch. And this poor guy was exploring a cave when he ran into a bear. A kid thought he put eye drops in his eye, but they were actually peppermint breath mints. This man was working outside when his wife took a picture of him with the flash on. That's when he realized there was 4 hungry lions watching his every move. Here are some unlucky people having a very...
People who lost the food lottery.
This time, whichever video I land on to watch. Shorts.
दुनिया के सबसे बदकिस्मत लोगों को देखने के लिए यहाँ पर ये बंदा बैक फ्लिप मारने की कोशिश कर रहा है और भाई मार ले जल्दी मार अरे भाई
Number 2.
यहाँ पर ये अपना रोला दिखा रहा
Yeah, we already seen this.
The wheel was about to hit her, but she is lucky to avoid it. It is.
Wait, don't keep scrolling. I'm desperate. If you think your life sucks.
Oh. Okay, it's quite lucky. Okay, so it's an 11-minute video. See if any other unlucky videos. So yeah, this is about the same as Infinite.